sinners, and saints. Dust off those horns and halos. It's time for Alan After Dark.
You know what, bitches? It's been a while since I have absolutely unleashed on the right-wing MAGA bitches, the Republican bitches, the skank bitches that always bitch at skanking or skank at bitching. I don't know which one it is, but I have to say, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, and you better fasten your seatbelts. Are you ready? Here we go. As usual, we'll start with my home state of Tennessee. They never do fail to take the cake when it comes to anti-gay legislation, behavior, attitudes, and bigotry. Well, if you haven't heard, Bill Lee, our fuckface governor, just recently signed into law what is called the Medical Ethics Defense Act, which lets healthcare practitioners refuse to perform or pay for a procedure or prescription that goes against their personal morals, ethics, or religious beliefs. This legislation applies to medical professionals, including doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and insurance companies too. It went into effect immediately upon Lee's signature. The Tennessee House sponsor, Brian Terry, Republican, of course, who is a physician himself, told lawmakers that the measure is designed to protect healthcare providers from quote-unquote moral injury, which he said is contributing to the physician shortage in Tennessee. A man by the name of Dr. Jonathan Shaw, who is an OBGYN in Tennessee, testified in the House Health Committee that he was nearly forced out of his previous practice in the Northeast because he refused to announce his pronouns to his patients, a policy he said is against his personal beliefs. He said he used the term conscientious objection to describe his position on the practice of being forced to announce his own pronouns. He said that it called into question his ability to do his job and that a patient should know that their doctor can take care of them with a clear conscience. All of this, in my opinion, goes against the Hippocratic Oath, which doctors are required to take, and it prioritizes their patients' well-being. The doctors take an oath to take care of their patients. And what he is saying that he had a problem with announcing his pronouns, which I don't understand that at all. But let's think about that just for a minute, because all the pronoun stuff, it is a made-up thing. They're so offended by it. This legislation, which targets really women, minorities, and the LGBTQ community, they just want to be able to discriminate whenever they want to at every level in this state. How can you legislate how someone is described? I think about Joanne Kathleen Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books, who was on this crusade to, I guess, wipe out transgender women in particular. Don't you know that it's hypocritical for her to get to choose whatever way she is called? Instead of using her name, Joanne, you use the initials, J.K. Rowling. Well, if I choose based on all this legislation, I can call you whatever I want to. I can call you Joanne. I can call you Kathleen. I can call you skank bitch whore, right? Because everybody has a right to decide what everybody else should be called, according to all of you. And that's what's happening in Tennessee. They really think that they're going to get rid of all the gay people in this state by passing all these discriminatory laws. And if the only thing that you have, if you are morally injured because you had to describe yourself as he or she or they or whatever, or if you have to address a patient by what they tell you they are called, you don't need to be a doctor anyway. You don't need to be in any profession where you are in contact with people in general. What the fuck, Tennessee? And what the fuck, Joanne Kathleen Rowling? I don't know why you get to gloat and brag on social media about the UK Supreme Court defining what a woman is without reading the rest of that ruling that said that transgender women cannot be discriminated against. You keep missing that part for some reason, you fuckwad. I gotta say, it must be really great to be so rich that all you have to do is worry about other people's lives and the fact that you don't like them. I wonder, what if a doctor says that they don't like Republicans and they have a moral obligation not to treat a Republican a MAGA bitch? What are they going to say? Because in the state of Tennessee, this new legislation allows anybody to object to treating anyone on a moral conscious level. If I was a doctor, I'd be asking, are you a Republican? You're against my morals. You're an evil person. I don't have to treat evil people, so get the fuck out of my office. How are they going to feel? Because that will finally happen. If they say that they can decide what they want to call us, I don't have to call you he, she, they, or your name or whatever. I get to do that, not you. Then we have the same right to call them whatever. Isn't that right, Marsha Blackburn? You ugly, bleached blonde, bad-haired, homophobic slapper. I hope I'm using that word right. That's a slang word in the UK. I think it means the same as bitch or whore or slut, but if it doesn't, you know what? I'll go with it. I don't think it means anything good. So just fuck her. Fuck Marsha Blackburn. It's very clear that she has no gay friends. Look at how her hair is and look at how she dresses. She's almost as ugly and skanky as Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Jesus. And then we have the Supreme Court of the United States, which is nothing but a rubber stamp for the orange turd, upholding this ban on transgender people serving in the military, letting it stay in place while the members of the military that are suing let their cases run through the courts. Well, fuck, why? Because they already have given the hint that even if they get to the Supreme Court, that they're going to overturn it. If the transgender person wins in the lower courts, they're just going to throw them out anyway. They literally are throwing out people who have served for as long as 10 plus years, being a transgender person, willing to fight for their country, die for their country, and they're just throwing them out. I don't know if the world knows this, but Hegseth, the supposed Secretary of Defense, who's always drunk, he came out to address why the military isn't meeting their enlistment numbers. And he tried to say that it was because of diversity, equity, inclusion, also known as DEI, and being woke. You know what the reason is, bitch? The reason is because you're so anti-immigration, anti-black, anti-gay, that the people who are the backbone of our military, African Americans, Latinos, gay people, they're not going to sign up just to be harassed and mocked and treated like shit in the military. And I challenge you, Hegseth, Orange Turd, MAGA, why don't you go ahead and initiate a draft? Because all you want, the way you're talking, is white men to fight. And I'll guarantee you, the rich in this country will fight back and say, no, you force black people to fight, Latinos to fight, gay people to fight, women to fight. We don't want our white sons to serve in these wars overseas that are for nothing but the gratification of an orange-faced bitch. I just wish that that would happen, because that is their belief, that only white men are capable of doing anything in the world. And I guess that means including fighting. But they're going to pay a dear price when our military is so weakened because we have fewer people willing to fight, that they'll have no choice but to recognize how stupid they've been. I mean, I can't imagine back in World War II when they made African American men fight, but they made them fight separately. I mean, these men fought and still weren't being treated equal, even on the battlefield. And that was then. This is now. Why should any American man of any background go into a system like that where all they're going to do is praise the white guys, give them all the promotions, give them the bonuses, etc., etc., etc.? Fuck them. Fuck them for ruining this country and fucking everything up. You have to wonder how they really did this. How did the Republicans, MAGA, make transgender people such a target? I mean, literally, they're demonizing the members of our military who were transgender the same way they did black men when the process to integrate the military began. They were the same people that were screaming that integrating the military would reduce effectiveness, cohesion, and weaken our ability to fight on the battlefield. It is the same goddamn argument they're using now. And look at Pete Buttigieg. You know, he's out there and he's a fantastic debater. He is amazing at explaining and arguing his point and demolishing any MAGA opponent. But let's face facts here. This country, in a small number of people, voted for a guy who has dementia, who paints his face orange, who has a toupee, who claimed that immigrants were eating dogs and cats, over a woman of color who is the most qualified to be president. You think those people are ever going to vote for a gay man? No matter how good he is at debate, how good he is at articulating a point, they will never see past him being gay. And I feel so bad for that. I do. I wish this country wasn't this way. Pete Buttigieg, if you're listening, and I know you're not, run for senator, run for governor of your state. Get that under your belt. You are a great leader, but this country is never going to elect you as president at this time. Maybe in 15 to 20 years, if the country still exists. We need a Democrat in the White House. We have to have one. And we're never going to get the perfect candidate, but any Democrat is better than the shit that we're seeing right now. I can say that, but you have to have enough votes to win the Electoral College. And if this country isn't going to vote for a woman, you really honestly think they can get past you being gay? They're not going to. Yes, I sound cynical. You all could be mad at me, but I am here to really spout off some truths in my anger. You all might think I'm wrong, but can you show me data that prove Pete Buttigieg can win a presidential election? I'm sorry, I won't believe polls ever again. None of them. None of them. Because people will say anything when they're responding to a poll. And they get behind those curtains in secret. Their racism, their homophobia, their misogyny, all of that comes through in how they vote. I'm more than willing to listen to anyone who can disprove my point. I wish I was wrong on that. But you have states and our federal systems attacking gay people and transgender people left and right. And you really think that with all that brainwashing that they're really going to accept this? The orange turd was just mocking Pete Buttigieg for being married to a man. He's a fuckface. We all know that. But that's what just enough people in this country that vote wanted. They wanted bullshit like this. They wanted our country running to the ground, becoming a pariah. People around the world hate us, and they blame all of us. And unfortunately, we're going to have to take that blame. Even though so many of us despise MAGA. We despise these people. I don't even want to call them people. They're like monsters. They are the epitome of what Adolf Hitler loved about his followers. That they would blindly listen to whatever he said, and they would hate whoever he said they should hate. I know that everybody keeps saying, oh, we can't equate Republicans with Nazis. It goes over their heads. It makes people want to dismiss what we're saying. It's just been said so much. Well, how many times did Trump say that they were eating the pets in Ohio? How many times did he attack President Obama's citizenship? Knowing it's all a lie. We're speaking truth. Truth will finally sink in as long as we keep telling it. If they can keep telling the lies and people will believe the lies, we have to keep telling the truth. I feel bad for our transgender brothers and sisters and family. They are going through hell. We have to try to support them and defend them. And it's not even the way I just described it. This is a no-brainer. This is the United States of America. We have a constitution. A transgender person has the right to exist and function in every part and aspect of our country, whether it's in the military, everyday life, the government, whatever. Nobody has the right to say that that person doesn't have the right to exist. You get down on that slippery slope, they'll be saying that black people don't have the right to exist, gay people don't have the right to exist, Jewish people don't have the right to exist, women don't have the right to exist. Mark my words. I believe that they honestly did read the book Handmaid's Tale or watch the show, and they thought, wow, that's a society we would love to live in. Now, granted, I don't think they read the ending of the book, and they're not going to watch the ending of the show. But It feels like that to me, that all of this anger and animosity, which we all know is partially a smokescreen to disguise and camouflage what they've really done and what they're really doing. But just think about it in broader terms. What is the point of all this in the views of somebody who's MAGA? What is the point? Well, the elites like Elon Musk, Bezos, and Trump is they want to continue to have the power. They really want the rest of the world to be subservient to them. They have everything that they could ever want now, and it's still not enough. And while they cater to their masses this poison, these toxins about transgender people, immigrants, they are swiping your wallet and taking every dime out of your pocket, right under your nose. But you're too wrapped up in your own bigotry and racism and hatred to even realize that they're ripping you off. How in the fuck can we get through to you dumbass people? How can you not see what's happening? I really wish somebody would explain that to me. In a little bit more comical political news, which it's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be religious, but this new Pope, Pope Leo the 14th, man, oh man, he has got the MAGA bitches up in arms over here in the USA. They're calling him woke and a progressive, and that is not Catholicism. I have to I roll my eyes and I want to laugh, but it's so terrible. Literally, I don't understand the MAGA God. Your Bible tells you that if you welcome all strangers, immigrants, not only will God take care of all of them, God will take care of you. But for some reason, the MAGA God is unable to do that. That's the thing that really gets me angry, is that they act like the God that they believe in, which is supposed to be all-powerful, all-knowing, all-doing, all-creating, is unable to take care of immigrants and us, those of us who are hosting them, taking care of them. Could it be that they're really saying that they don't really believe in God at all? Because if they truly did and they had their faith and they read their Bible, they would be doing everything the opposite way of what they're doing right now. It's beyond hypocrisy. It really is about just lying, being manipulative whores for rich men. Have you noticed that? The orange turd will bend over and grab his ankles for anybody willing to give him a couple of $1 million. That's some fucked up shit. I mean, he is the epitome of a whore, a prostitute. I have respect for prostitutes and hustlers. I know they're out here 9 to 5 shaking that ass to get that cash. He's just doing it to get more shit. He thinks that makes him powerful. But if you are just somebody who will do what somebody pays you to do, that doesn't sound like a powerful person to me. Does it to you? We really are on the downward spiral in this country. I never wanted to ever say that. They can brag all they want that things are better. I'm telling you, things in the United States are as bad as I've ever seen it. We're going to see some of the worst shortages, one of the worst recessions we've ever seen. I'm already seeing signs in my grocery store warning about shortages, but they're blaming everything but what's really going on. We all know that in Tennessee, almost all the farms use undocumented labor to harvest the crops. Most of them are already gone. You're not going to find a fucking white boy this day and age who's going to work for $5 an hour picking tomatoes, digging potatoes. They're not going to do it. So you're going to have the same result here as you did in the UK. When you don't have enough immigrants to do that work, the crops rot, prices go sky high, and you have shortages. But knock yourselves out, bitches. You got rid of the brown people that you don't like. I just want these MAGA bitches to get a taste of their own medicine. I want our media in this country to do their jobs. Why aren't they, when they're asking the orange turd a question, why don't they say, you're lying about this, so why are you lying about what you're saying? This is not true. That's not true. Why do you lie? Why can't you tell us the truth? I would love for somebody to call him out that way. And you shouldn't be afraid of being thrown out and not allowed to come back in. A good journalist should be hated by politicians because they're doing their job. I just don't understand how you can claim to be a journalist if you're more worried about a paycheck than you are about getting the truth to the American people. But, this is a country of greed, of liars, of cheaters, of racists and bigots. I guess I shouldn't expect anything better from our journalists, should I? God knows you're not going to get any better from most of the churches here in this country. Why aren't they out here being more vocal, being more out in the open, really saying something, really trying to stop this shit from happening? I just really wish I could understand how they balance this so-called morality with what they're actually doing. How do they reconcile what they claim they believe is their religion with their actions? Actions speak louder than words. You can proclaim Jesus Christ as your Savior and you love God and you worship God and you follow the Bible, but when your actions say otherwise, you're full of shit. I find it very hilarious when a MAGA will say, you shouldn't be name-calling and saying all this dirty stuff. I'm like, are you fucking serious? The orange turd, that's all he does, is mock people, make fun of them, and treat them like garbage. So who are you to fucking tell me to be better? I am better, bitch. I'm better than all y'all crazy fucking assholes. I have never seen such bitterness and vileness and self-righteous behavior, the attitude. You all really think that the orange turd cares about you, and because you think that, you can act like he does. That smug, snide attitude, sneering your nose at all of us that are real Americans, the ones who are fighting the real fight, the ones of us who are trying to just live our lives without all of you assholes all up in our ass. That was almost like a alliteration or something, wasn't it? Oh, who the fuck knows? I'm still pissed off. Somebody pour me a drink. God, anybody got any weed? Jesus. Isn't it something that I am just practicing my right of free speech? But if they were to hear about this episode, and if I was really famous or a bigger star, they would come after me because I've criticized the orange turd. I could be actually sent to El Salvador and put in that prison for the rest of my life for actually exercising my rights. The people that are in denial, of course, don't understand. I am so sick of people pretending like this isn't going on and that everything's going to be fine. I think too many Germans in the 30s and the 40s did that kind of pretending, and they all suffered. They all paid the price for it. And unfortunately for us, we're going to pay the price for it. Maybe that's the idea of groups like the Proud Boys and the Ku Klux Klan and all the white supremacists. Maybe they want everybody to be poor. That way they can brainwash them and control them. But isn't it funny? They usually will blame the government for all their problems. Are they going to blame this government? The racist that's in the White House? I really wish somebody could tell me how we fix this. How do we change this? How do we change this other than actually fighting? I'm really beginning to wonder. I really am. Damn, I hope I get to suck some dick tonight, or at least see one, or 2, or 12, or 15 of them. I'm open to any number. The higher the volume, the better. I do find it interesting that once again, it feels like an act of defiance, a middle finger to the government and to society just for being a gay man. It feels like it did in the 90s, even though in the 90s, we really were starting to make gains in equality. But it was always As usual, the government was the one that was falling behind and was still against us. There is a deliciousness to the notion that we're doing something bad and defiant. It's the foundation of punk rock, isn't it? It's the foundation of being a rebel, fucking with the government. Even though I love being gay, if I can be spiteful and gay, that's even better. At least I think so. Thank you for indulging an angry gay bitch and his soapbox rant tonight. I hope I've encouraged people to speak out. I hope I've provoked some thought and maybe inspired some to be prepared for battle. Or if nothing else, go to happy hour, find some dick, and suck that. But always remember, take life by the balls and be real. We'll see you soon.